On the day of death, when my bier is on the move, do not suppose that I have any pain at leaving this world. Do not weep for me, and say not, Alas, alas. You will fall into the devil's snare, and that would indeed be alas. When you see my hearse, say not, Parting, parting. That time there will be for me union and encounter. When you commit me to the grave, say not, Farewell, farewell. For the grave is a veil over the reunion of paradise. Having seen the going down, look upon the coming up. How should setting impair the sun and the moon? What seed ever went down into the earth which did not grow? Why do you doubt so regarding the human seed? You think I have been buried, don't you? The 7 heavens are under my foot.
Ya Hazreti Mevlana Hak
The great Muslim Sufi, Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi, was born on September 30th, 1207, in Balkh. His father, Baha'u'ddin Valad, was one of the most knowledgeable men of his time. He was a very famous scholar and man of religion. He was known throughout the Islamic world as the Sultan of the religious scholars, or the Master Scholar. When the Mongol threat was spreading, wave upon wave, from east to west, leaving behind pillage and terror, and reaching the Balkh borders, the Sultan of Scholars decided to leave. In 1220, with a small caravan comprised of his family and students, he began a long journey that would last 8 years. The caravan's first stop was Nishapur. Later, leaving Nishapur, they first went to Baghdad, and then to Mecca by means of the Kufa road. Making Hajj, they continued to Medina, Jerusalem, and Damascus, before reaching the borders of Anatolia. The journey was endless. They traveled to Aleppo, Malatya, Erzincan, Sivas, Kayseri, and Niğde, before arriving in Karaman. While staying in Karaman, the family was shaken by the loss of Jalaluddin's mother, Mumine Hatun, and his older brother, Ala-eddin. Jalaluddin married Gever Hatun there, and their children, Sultan Balad and Ala-eddin Jalabi, were born in that city. When they left Karaman in 1228 and arrived in Konya, the great Selçuk capital, and one of the most important centers of science and art and thought in the Middle Ages, they left behind a very long journey of 8 years. I am the light of dawn, the evening breeze. I am the hum of the forest, the sound of the waves. I am the mast, the helm, the captain, and the ship. I am the rock that ruined the boat. I am the hunter, the bird, and the trap. I am the picture, the mirror, the sound, and the echo. I am silence, thought, language, and sound. I am the sound of the flute. I am the spirit of man. I am the spark in rocks. I am the gold vein in mines. I am the rose and the nightingale enraptured by the rose. I am the doctor and the patient, the poison and the cure. I am sweetness and bitterness, honey and oleander. I am the city and the guard, the besieger and the wall. I am the chain of being, the circle of worlds, this stage of evolution. I am the descent and the ascent. This long journey by his father's side was a perfect time of training for Mevlana Jalaluddin. In addition to the basic sciences that he was taught by the Sultan of Scholars, Mevlana also received different, enriching and valuable thoughts and ideas from many famous scientists and thinkers whom he met throughout the years in various countries. These were to become the foundation of the essential components of Rumi's teaching, tolerance and love for mankind. In this sea there is no death for us. In this sea no grief or sorrow. This sea consists of boundless love. This sea is comprised of goodness and generosity. Two years after they settled in Konya, Jalaluddin's father Bahauddin Valad died. Mevlana's having come to Konya at a young age. He's not leaving there except for a few short trips. The formation of Jalaluddin's character in that city and his fame spreading from there all resulted in his being called Rumi, a name by which he is known throughout the world. After Bahauddin Valad's death, one of his closest students, Sayyid Burhaneddin, became Mevlana's teacher. Praised as the Sayyidi Surdan, this great scholar had been Jalaluddin's manservant when he was a boy and continued teaching him until his death. 5 years after Sayyid Burhaneddin's death, Mevlana continued as a teacher in Konya's 4 famous medreses. He was busy with classical branches of knowledge like jurisprudence, Quranic interpretation, hadith and theology, and he studied Persian, Indian, and Arabian literature and Greek philosophy. In the month of November 1244, when Rumi was returning with his attendants from the medrese to his home, a dervish who grabbed the harness of his horse and began asking him questions would change Mevlana's life. He turned him towards the heavens in enthusiasm and ecstasy. Known as Shamsi Tabriz, this 60-year-old dervish and Rumi began a relationship of murid-murshid, or follower-guide, that continued for 3 years, at which time Shams suddenly disappeared one day. Shams' coming had brought boundless enthusiasm mixed